Okay, so our lesson this afternoon is going to involve applying exponent rules to area and volume. Okay, so for instance, we're going to get something like this. And if this was 5x and this was 2x, I would ask you what's the area of this. Okay? Does anyone have any ideas how to go about doing that?
You would multiply 2x by 5x.
Good. So area of a rectangle, do you remember from grade 7 or 8 is length times width? And so it doesn't matter which one you call length and which one you call width. And then what do you get when you multiply them together? 10x squared. Good. X times x is x squared. Really good there. Okay, we're going to put up another one, and you're going to find the area of it. Do I need to put the times sign between L and W? I don't, because if I have two letters side by side, times is understood. Okay, so I can replace length with 6x and width with x, and when I multiply those together, what would I get? 6x squared. Good. Everybody good there? Yep. Okay, here's one. Let's see, area. Okay, so I'm seeing a couple of different answers here. I'll write them down. I see 16xy. I see 16x squared y. I see 16xy squared. So the 16 is consistent. Let's see how we get the answer here then. So length times width. Doesn't matter which we call which. So I think everybody got 16 by doing 2 times 8. X times x is x to the power of 2, and y is only there 1 time. Okay? Everybody good? That should be your answer. So it was this one. Okay? All right, and then we can get stranger. So I could make this side 4a squared b cubed, and this side 6ab. And you can find me out the area. 1/3 it right here. Yeah.
Can we times the
A times A squared, yeah, so what would A times A squared be?
Just be like,
Nope, because there's a 1 there, just like you wrote.
so we add.
Yep, yep. So lots of people doing the right things here. So it's tons of 24s. A cubed, because there's an A to the 1 there. So lots of people remember that. And then B to the 4th, because it's B to the 1 times B cubed. Okay? All right, one more and then we'll start the lesson. So this time I'm going to tell you the area and the width, and you're going to find the length. So 5x squared y, and the area is 40x cubed y squared. And then you're trying to figure out what the length is. What's the length if the area is 40x cubed y squared, and the width is 5x squared y? What's that? Okay, wow, you guys are awesome. So this is the consensus, 8xy, and the ways people went about getting it were different from each other. Okay, so I had a lot of people write down that that width was the area divided by the length. So how did you know that? How did you know that? Yep. Because so length times width is area. So if you know the area and the length, sorry, my bad. You did length is area divided by the width. If you know the area and divide it by the width, you'll get the length. Okay, because it's a multiplicative relationship. Okay, so a lot of people knew that, and they went length is 40x cubed y squared divided by 5x squared y, and then they just did it like a dividing question. So 40 divided by 5 is 8, x cubed divided by x squared is x, and then y squared divided by y is y. Then I had other people doing it like the box method. So the area has to end up being 40x cubed y squared. The length is what we don't know. And the width is 5x squared y. Okay? And then they were figuring out, what do I need to multiply 5 by to get 40? So they did, that's on their whiteboard, 40 divided by 5 gives you the 8. And then you need to have x cubed and you have x squared, so you need to have an x on that side. And you have to have y squared, but you only have y, so you needed to have a y there. Okay? Some people did the thinking like this, some people did it right on their rectangle, but awesome. Okay? So either way is great. Okay, so Did got Evan to hand out lesson 6. And that's basically what lesson 6 is, but I'm not going to draw three-dimensional stuff. I'll leave that for my pictures that I've got. And so that's the end of exposure today, really as a unit. We will use the exploded rules in algebra, which we're starting tomorrow. Wait, some of them have to practice. Should I do that again?
I only last time.
And see, you got to practice. Just leave that aside for a second.
I got it.
Last time, you got to practice.
Good practice.
How do they get mixed together? I don't know. No, I don't understand. It's the prep teacher last week, Mr. Batman, did my photocopying for me, and it was great, but I guess some of it got mixed together. Does everyone have lesson 6 in front of them? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Okay. All right, so applying exponent rules to area and volume. So we're going to apply exponent rules to find expressions to represent the area of rectangles and the volume of rectangular prisms. So recall the formula for the area of a rectangle is area equals length times width, but the formula for the volume of a rectangular prism or a box, okay, is volume is length times width times height. So length, width, height, okay? You remember back to grade 8 probably or grade 7. So determine an expression for the area of each. I'm just going to let you guys try those ones. You should be able to get them. Area of each. So try and first example, determine the expression for the area of each. It's okay to go right to the answer, but since they asked for the area, write A equals. Okay, for each one. Okay, so you guys have excellent communication. Tons of people starting off with the formula and then picking a length and a width. Oops, look at, I forgot the equal sign there. And then getting a equals x squared. And then a few people just went straight to, well, I can multiply those. They went straight to a equals x squared, but make sure you have the a standing for area. It's okay to do that, okay, as long as you have a equals. And does it matter which one I call the length and which one I call the width? No. Okay, so if you have them in a different order than me for this one, if you have 3x times 5x instead of 5x times 3x, it doesn't matter. Okay, and you're going to get 15x squared. And this one sometimes stumps people a little bit. Who knows what 9x times 2y is? Yep. I don't know. Did you get that one? No? Did you get that one?
18.
18xy. Very good. So 9 times 2 is 18. There's no other x to combine with anything, and there's no other y to combine with anything. So it's 18xy. Good. All right, and then this one, 4y times 7y gives me what? Yep. Perfect, 28y squared. Great. Okay, determine an expression for the volume of each this time. So volume again is our length times width times height. So just make sure you don't accidentally use one twice. So to avoid that, you can label them. When they're all the same, it doesn't really matter, but when they're all different, make sure you know that you've used all three when you're calculating it. In this case, they're all x. So what is x times x times x? X cubed, very good. Did anyone write 3x? Okay, do you see what you did? X times x times x, you keep the same base and add the exponents. Okay? So 3x is a common error for x times x times x. It's x cubed. Okay? Anyone think they got B? Austin?
So, B, right?
Yep, B.
So, 40x3.
Yes, 40x cubed, very good. How many people got 40x cubed? Yes? Okay, excellent. All right, C. Pick your length, your width, and your height, and it doesn't matter which one's which. Yep.
Equals 280y.
Okay, I'm gonna try to remember that. 288. 288y cubed. Very good. Okay. And how about D? So I'm gonna write out my formula. Label my length, width, and height. Substitute them in. 11xy times 2x times 5x. Yep.
And then x to y.
Nice. Everybody get that? Can you understand how you did it? 100 times x cubed y. Yep. X times x times x is x cubed times y. Okay. X cubed y. Good. All right. What is a simplified expression for the volume of the cube? Sorry? Did I miss a page?
No. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Good. Good. What's the page I missed?
The back of
Is it? That's weird.
like
Like,
this first one is the volume of maybe after that. Yeah.
this one?
Yeah.
Yes. That is so weird. Because I printed the smart notebook, so it shouldn't be in this printer. Okay. The volume of this is next. Oh, it's the photocopy feature again. They put it in the wrong order. Okay. Can we go back? Can you guys go to this page instead for me? I feel like this is a better order. I'll just do my own photocopying from now. Okay. What is a simplified expression for the volume of the cube? Yes.
Would it be 5x to the power of 3?
Okay, so 5x all to the power of 3? Yes. Is that simplified? Or can I simplify it more than that?
$125.
Okay, good. So I'm just going to show that middle step there, which you don't need to show. Okay, so that's thinking a cube. So that's using the formula. The volume of a cube is the volume of side cube. Okay, but you can also use length times width times height. Do you agree with that? It just so happens that the length, width, and height are all the same. They're all 5x. So let's make sure we get the same answer that way too. So the length is 5x, the width is 5x because it's a cube, and the height is 5x. They're all 5x. And if I multiply all those three terms together, I should still end up with this answer, if this answer is right. So I would do 5 times 5 times 5 and get 125. X times x times x is x to the power of 3. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether I use side cubes for a cube or whether I use length times width times height for a cube, I'm going to get the correct answer, as long as I use the exponent laws properly. Okay? All right, the area of the rectangle is 32x squared. What is the width? So we did one kind of like this in the warm-up. Given the area and the length, and you have to figure out the width. I see tons of people doing division. Okay, so there's two camps here. So one camp is doing width is area divided by length, subbing in the area, subbing in the length, and getting, subbing in the length, 8x, and then dividing, and 32 divided by 8 is giving them 4, and x squared divided by x, remember there's a little 1 there, so it's x to the power of 1, which you don't need to show. Okay? The other camp is doing area equals length times width, and they're changing area to 32x squared, and then keeping length as 8x, and then figuring out what they need to multiply 8x by to get 32x squared. Okay? So they're saying 32 divided by 8 is 4, x squared divided by x is x, so the width must be 4x. Okay? Can anyone do it different than one of those two ways? Okay. The area of the square is 49x squared. What is the length of each side? This one's a thinker. What's important about a square? All the sides are the same? Yep. Yes? Any ideas for this one? Yep.
You can find the square root of
Oh my
49.
goodness, yeah. So the square root of 49 is, anyone seen square root before? The Pythagorean theorem. So square root of 49 is 7. Okay. So now I know that when I'm doing area, it's going to be the number part, the coefficient part is going to be 7 times 7. But I want the sides to be exactly the same, so what's the variable part going to be? If I want to end up with x squared when I multiply these together. X, because x times x is x squared. So both of these would be 7x. Okay? Or you can think of, what's the square root of 49x squared? 7x. is the square root of x squared. Yep.
How do you call it square root?
On your calculator, you find it by doing the square root button. So you do second square root of 49 equals, okay?
I do that like in my head.
Yeah, so you want to know what it means? So square root of 49 means what number multiplies by itself to give you 49? So I don't start at once. 2 times 2 is 4, so it's not 2. 3 times 3 is 9, so it's not 3. 4 times 4 is 16, so it's not 4. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 7 is 49. So that's how you know the square root of 49 is 7. Okay? So you're looking at what number multiplies by itself to give you the number under the square root sign. So it actually means. Okay? Nice. So we found the length of each side is 7x. We kind of did that with the picture, but since they asked specifically, so the 3 little dots, have we come across them yet? That means therefore. So that's math for the word therefore. Three little dots that form a triangle. Therefore. Okay, the volume of the rectangular prism is 420x cubed. What is the height? The volume of the rectangular prism is 420x cubed. What is the height? Yeah.
For the last question, can you divide 49 by 4?
Try it. What do you get when you divide 49 by 4? And if you multiply that by itself, you're not going to get 49. Okay? Good idea, good thinking, but it's square root that you want, not divided by 4. Okay? All right. And does anyone have any idea of how you go about this question? Yep.
Okay, so the height equals volume divided by length.
Very good.
And then, so that would be 420 x to the power of 3
Yep.
cubed, and then 84 x squared.
Can I show this step in here then for people? Okay, so, and then we know that the division bar means that you have to simplify the bottom before you can divide, and that's what you did, and you got 84x squared.
And then those two divided by each other is 5x.
5x. Nice. Okay, so how did you know that height was volume divided by length times width?
Well, because if you have the length and the width, then you find the height.
Right. Okay, so because we know that volume is length times width times height, if we know the length and the width, and the only thing we need to know is the height, and they're all being multiplied together, then if I take the volume and divide it by the length and the width, I'll get the height.
And we can
Okay.
also find the area of one base, of like the one base of it.
Yes, so that's another way of thinking about volume is area of the base. And the base is a rectangle times the height. And so the base is this guy, and if we found its area, it would be 12x times 7x. That's another way to think of it, giving me 84x squared. Okay, which is what you got on the bottom here, just by thinking it through. Okay, so that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is the box method again. So volume equals length times width times height. I know the volume is 420x cubed. I'm going to pick out the length to be 12x. I'm gonna pick out the width to be 7x, and then the height is gonna be whatever I have to put in the box to make it work. Okay, so that's the other way to think about it. Right? And then I might as well multiply these two together here. So my next step down, I would get 84x squared, and then the height's still gonna be whatever goes in the box. And then to get, what do I multiply 84 by to get 420? I do 420 divided by 84, which gives me the 5. And what do I have to multiply x squared by to get x cubed? Hopefully we know that's x. So the height is 5x. Okay? So 2 ways. Grade 9, I don't have a preference. Okay? Whichever way makes sense to you, as long as you can get to the answer and show your thinking. Okay? All right, so now we're going to go back to the second page, which is really, yes. So, this page. The volume of the square-base prism is 108 a to the 8th, b to the 4th. Determine an expression for the height of the prism. Now they're getting a bit harder because the exponents are a bit harder. Yes, you may. Okay, I'm noticing, I'm just going to write this down and this will give you more thinking time, but a lot of people doing this now that they know it from the previous question. Okay, that's great. You'll want to learn in math. Idea what the height's going to be volume divided by going absolute. Does someone want to walk me through their answer for this one? Step by step, yeah.
Line equals,
Yep.
volume divided by length and width equals, right?
Yep.
Volume, height divided, 108 divided by 9 equals the height, which is 12.
Okay. So you're treating the numbers separately. So you did 108 divided by 9, and you got 12. And then you did?
And then I just added up the
Exponents.
sums.
And so what did you get for your
A1, B2.
A4, B2? Okay, so you did kind of like I know I have to do 108 divided by 9 because 3 times 3 is 9 to get the number. And then kind of like a look at the exponents and make sure they add up to, the A's add up to 8 and the B's add up to 4. Okay, so I would call that a guess and check technique, which is fine. Okay. Make sure you show your thinking though. Okay, don't just write the answer down. And then this way of thinking, which I saw as well, you have to remember that you have to simplify the bottom first before you divide. So 3 times 3 is 9, a to the 4th b squared, and now it becomes a dividing question. 108 divided by 9 is 12. A to the 8 divided by a to the 4 is a to the 4. B to the 4th divided by b squared is b squared. So same answer, different way of getting to it. Okay, and then there, you'd need a therefore, William. I can just add a therefore in front of height if I want to. Okay, and I've got an expression for the height. Okay, nice. All right, so similar, the volume of the rectangular prism is 144 x cubed y cubed. Determine the height of the prism. Okay, so this walkthrough, I see a lot more people have converted to doing, sorry, what are you trying to find here, the height? So height is volume divided by length times width. And then 144 x cubed y cubed for volume. And then picking out a length and a width. And substituting them in. And then doing, simplifying the bottom first before you divide. So 3 times 4 is 12, x times x is x squared, y times y is y squared. And then dividing, 144 divided by 12 is 12. X cubed divided by x squared is just x to the 1, which is just x. And then y cubed divided by y squared is just y to the 1, which is just y. Okay? Great. Okay, now we're changing, we're finding the volume again. What is a simplified expression for the volume of the cube? We looked at 2 different ways we could have gotten the answer last time. So pick one that makes sense to you. Remember, this question is switching again. It wants you to find the volume. So do you know the length, width, and height? Yes, you do, because it's a cube. They're all the same. Okay, then you have to figure that out. Yep. Good. Okay, we're almost at an exact even half and half split between the two ways of doing it. So half of you did length times width times height, which were all the same. So you substituted in a 6x squared y 3 times, and then multiplied. And if you did that, you should have got 216 x to the 6 y cubed. And then the other half of you use the formula of volume of a cube is side cubed. And then the side was, in brackets, 6x squared y cubed. Okay? And then a bunch of people went straight to the answer from there, and then I had a few put in this middle stuff, where they put 6 to the 3rd, x to the 6 y cubed, and then figured out that 6 cubed was 216. But look, it doesn't matter which way I did it, I got the same volume in the end. And you guys are about half for half who did it which way. Okay? Great. Good. All right, actually, Mr. Jago, I'm almost done the lesson. Perfect. The volume of the prism below is 80 a to the 6b cubed. If the area of the base, we talked about that, the area of the base is 16 a to the 4th b squared, what is an expression for the height? We can take it through. You know, the whole area, not the length and the width like here. Yes. 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 Yep. Awesome. Here you go. Yes. I'll answer that one. Yeah, but you guys are doing awesome. They're all, most of them are EQAO questions, just like real great. So keep going over them. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of thing, right?
So the next week they're here, we spend the day on rearranging formulas.
But that's what you're doing.
Yeah, it is.
Especially for the height, you gotta solve it, right? You gotta understand the geometry, and the connected geometry, the fact that you're looking for one variable.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we were doing last week, right?
Yes. Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna have Reese take this one up with me, and I like the way that he did it. So what was your first step?
So I said height equals the volume divided by height.
Okay, awesome. Now, I'm just gonna, before he goes on, volume divided by area. So we've been using height is volume divided by length times width. But what do we know about what length times width is if we're talking about a rectangle? Length times width is the area. The area of a rectangle is length times width. So he saw that if I know the area of the base, I know the length times the width. I can just call that the area. Perfect. Okay, take it from there, Reese.
So then that would be 80 a power 6
Yep,
b cubed
yep,
over 16 a power 4
Yep.
b squared,
yep.
and that would equal 5 a squared b.
Awesome. Okay, different way or need a different explanation for this one? Okay? It's tricky when you needed to know that. I know that since I knew the area, I actually knew the length times width, which is the area. Okay? You had to make that connection between the area of a rectangle and the area of the base of a rectangular prism. Okay? All right. So here's an actual SNP DQAO question. Expressions for the base area and volume of a prism are given below. Which expression represents the height? So it's the same type of question we just did, but it's multiple choice. And that's an exact question from EQAO. Okay? Your name. You guys are really good in the way you evolve your thinking.
Start, you said rewriting equations in street, you get those volumes, and then kind of work backwards.
Yeah, so right now they know that because it's multiplicative, if they know 2 and not the other one, then the idea is multiply those together and divide by
Right.
volume.
Yeah.
So they intuitively know that. Rearranging formulas we do after we do solving
Right, so
equations.
you need to start applying what pieces of time with time to get to that.
No,
Okay, so
that happens next week.
Okay, that was my
Yeah.
question, they always to the H equals, and
Yes.
okay, well, I'm trying to understand the process.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, I want to know F, G, H, or J. Anyone? What they get? Yep.
I got that.
F. Did anyone get anything different from F? No? Okay, Vanessa, walk me through what you did.
I divided 64 by 16.
So you did height is volume divided by area of the base.
Mhm.
Okay, so the volume was 64A cubed B to the 6 divided by the base area, which was 16AB cubed, and that gave you what?
That gave me 4 base squared equals
Very good. So keep the base and subtract the exponents. You have to remember that little 1 there. Okay, keep the base and subtract, divide the coefficients, and that gave us F. Good. All right, here's another EQAO question. Which of the following fish tanks would contain an amount of water represented by the expression volume is 24x squared y when completely full? So I just snipped it right out of an old EQAO and put it on your lesson. They can because it's on their page. But I can go, yeah, I can't fit them in. I can either fit the question or I'll go as far as I can there. Okay, the consensus seems to be B. Did anybody get something different from B? So we can see, everybody got B? So should we go right to B and figure it out? Okay, so volume is length times width times height. And it doesn't matter which is which, right? So length, width is their height. So 6x times y times 4x. So if I was multiplying the numbers or the coefficients together, it would be 6 times 1 times 4. And then x times x is x squared times y. And that's what we wanted to get. So B was the answer. What would be your strategy if this was a multiple choice question? You would just randomly select B, find the volume of this one. And, yep.
You would find volume for all of them.
Yep. And then convince yourself that that's the only right one. Okay, that is what I would do, okay? Time's not an issue for QAO, so I would actually do all of them. Yep, do you have another idea?
What it was for A and B, I mean for A and C, they were 2y's, and I know I was looking for x squared, not y squared.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you knew when you're going to multiply 3y by 2y, you get a y squared, and you know you can't have a y squared, so you eliminated that one rather than finding the entire volume. That's a great idea. And then that happened down here too.
No, and B was,
That happened
yeah.
here too. Okay, so then it was between B and D, and then you could go and figure out the volume of those two. Great idea. Anyone think of it? Yeah.
I just have a question. So if we do QAO for the multiple choice questions like that, do we have to show our work or?
No. So if you're doing QAO this year, it's all multiple choice. They've changed it. Okay, so yes, it's all multiple choice. If they have QAO this year, there's no open response. It'll all be marked by a computer. And you can have paper out, you can probably have your whiteboard out, you just can't have your phone, okay? You can have a calculator. And the issue if we do it is having technology so that everybody in our class and the other grade 9 class have a computer to do it on. Okay, that would be the issue impeding us from doing it this semester, but we might do it. We don't know yet. Any other questions? Okay, I was gonna pass you out the practice if you didn't accidentally already because